Welcome to Fire and Water, the podcast, coming of age in this age, where we seek to cultivate wise leaders one show at a time. We are your hosts, Juanita Robertson, and I'm with Tennyson Wolf. And today we're talking about wild cards. So, Tennyson, what's your wild card for the day?
Wild cards. Hello, Quinita. What I mean by wild cards today is the unplanned version of things. So sometimes you and I will sit down and say, well, let's do a podcast about this. And sometimes we follow that. And then there's other times when it's just like, I don't know. I have some wild card desire in me. So this is you and I showing up together to say, in the unplanned, unscripted way, here's the thing. So,
All right.
you'll know what you know, and I'll play off of what you share, not knowing what it is, and I'll know what I know, and I'll offer something that you get to play off of. Cool
Sounds
beans?
great. Let's
And
go.
why would we do such a thing? Oh, look at you. You're all let's go.
I
Why
am. I'm
why would
in.
we do such a thing? What is the relentlessly purposeful version of this?
Well,
That
first of
might be
all,
my first wild card
you
for you.
offered and asked me.
Relentlessly purposeful.
I think part of it
Yeah.
is, can we be with life? Can we be with the flow of life? So whatever
Okay.
comes up,
Yeah.
can I step in? Can you step in and just offer what's in
Pretty
our hearts
good.
and our minds right then, right there?
Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay.
I know how to play this game.
All right. You do know how to play this game. All right. Then I think you were inviting me to name the
Yes.
wild card, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do something that, excuse me, that we do often with people. And I just find it is a life-giving thing. So I'm going to pick a random thing from this book that you and I both know called Four Words Self-Help. And it's Patty Dye is the author. And with whatever the random page is and whatever most of these pages have four words on them, I'm going to say the four words and then invite you to pick that up and share what you wish to share about it. And then also just make a tiniest of connection at the end that says, and what's that got to do with who you are and who you're becoming? Because that's the game that we so often play with people, right?
Yes.
Like we're willing to play with, I'm willing to play with a lot of things. And if I ever need a bus pass back to what's this got to do with anything, usually it's that question of, hey, does this have anything to do with who you are and who you're becoming? Something like that.
Well, and I think some of it is developing wise,
Mhm.
soulful leaders that,
Yeah.
the soul resides in the spirit world,
Okay.
and the spirit, like, objects are symbols, right?
Yeah.
And so it's growing our ability to, like, be able to use symbols and connect
Okay.
to our life.
All right. Listen to us. We're all talky about it and everything. And
All
and
right,
that's
go.
the
Let's
short of
go.
it. That's the short of it for me though, too, is growing the capacity to make the connections because it's all connected anyway.
Yeah,
Ooh, inner and outer. Okay, ready? So I'm
ready
not going page number. I'm just going to thumb and you're going to say when.
now. Now,
Oh, okay. Are you ready? The
I
four
don't know yet.
words. The four words are stop trying so hard.
Mm.
Ready, go.
Stop trying so hard,
Yeah.
that for me, the connection is that we so think that life is supposed to be hard.
Mm,
And but just like breathing comes so often so natural, right? It's like,
mm,
how can we surrender? How can I
hmm.
surrender to the flow of life? One of the things that I say often is that life has a life of its own,
Mm.
and that my job is just to just listen deep enough and surrender to each moment. And now sometimes I do that better than others, but um my desire is to be able to be with the flow of life and to not feel like I need to make it up or that I need to be anything different than who I am.
Beautiful. I hear the wisdom in such words and relate to them. And now I'm going to push it back. So, Juanita, what's an example? Those are all great principles, but is there an example of you in your life that you can offer of either when you did stop trying so hard or when you recognized, holy moly, I'm trying way too hard here?
Yeah, I think it's in like in design. We
Mm.
do work and we do lots of design stuff. And one of the things that I used to do is, weeks before something, I would be working hard on trying to figure out what I wanted to do and how, and in some ways it was about like, uh, how can I share what I know
Mhm.
weeks before? And I'd come up with this beautiful, wonderful design of what to do. And then what would happen is,
It didn't
yes,
last.
it's like the 2 days or 3 days before the
Right.
event, I'd get this download of, oh no, it's supposed to be something totally different.
Yeah.
And it would just come in this flow and it was like water. And I just knew. And so I would scrap everything I did and have to like just say, okay, this is where we are. So I've learned to not try to figure it out before I am the person that I'm supposed to be at the time I'm supposed to give it.
That's good.
What about you?
All right. Yeah. Well, mine is kind of similar. So I guess that makes us dorky in similar ways because I was thinking of design and I had a design that I was working on that I shared with you that involved a session online. And I've known of it for a while and I've been thinking about it for a while. And I didn't, I purposefully did not want to jump into the design too far in advance. But as I got closer, like 3 days in advance and 2 days in advance and one day in advance, I kept thinking, well, maybe it's time. Like, and I'd scribble some things on paper and, start to work on it. And it just felt like, no, this is not landing. And the best that I can come up with is it just wasn't quite time yet. So sure enough, for this particular circumstance, the day of, I didn't have the best night's sleep, to be honest, the night before, because I thought, oh my gosh, I got nothing right now. But then I woke up, and as is often the case for me, I woke up with it, and things just kind of came. So to me, that's a learned skill. Like you're being more articulate about this, I think. There is something about doing things in right timing, and that is not to say that things can't be done in advance. But it to me, it is calling forward the whole notion of like, oh, we have to presence it in the moment, and that's a skill that I'm like really, really putting some energy into. I'm feeling like, ooh, there's magic in that kind of stop trying so hard
Well, and I think spirit lives in
and
just in time.
fun in it. Sorry.
Spirit lives in just in time.
Mm,
And like that's not human time. Like human time, we like to plan ahead, but that's not where spirit is. Spirit is in
yeah.
each moment, present moment. And, and there's things that matter, like who's in the room matters, and it changes what it wants to be, even in the moment. So even in those moments where I get the flow of, oh, this is what's supposed to happen, it still may change once I start, depending on who's in the room and what people say and where things are led, because it's about the dance with and not the doing it's moving with, not moving or not making it move to something,
Oh,
right?
that's good. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Don't try so hard.
Yep.
I now put an end to that one. Don't try so hard to try so hard or to not try so hard.
All right, so wild card on my
It's
end.
your turn. Yeah.
Pick another page.
Me pick a page? Is that what you're
Yep.
saying? And so I'm the one that says when. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying? You're
exactly.
drawing from my book of materials,
I
right?
am.
Okay, ready, go. Claim your own mistakes. Ha ha. That was me thumping the book shut.
Yes.
Claim your own mistakes. All right, let's see. Where do I go with that? Hmm, I don't know. There's something general about the honesty, the authenticity that goes with oops, that was mine, I messed up on that one. Um there's something for me about, I don't want to be too cute with it, but it's something about, hey, cool, claim your learning. So claim your mistakes could be synonymous with claim your learning or claim something in that direction, right?
Yeah.
Um, Claim your own mistakes. Definitely a not blame
Yeah.
in that. But even the language. Okay, so now this is me, the part of me that goes, well, let's just change the language. Mistakes. That's got connotation of some wrongdoing and stuff like that. And yeah, there's of course those things exist, human life. But I think mistakes is an overused word.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to play a little bit more in the language of there's always learning available, whether it's an inner thing or an outer thing. Um, there's like, ooh, I thought it would be this way, but it turns out to be that way, all of that kind of stuff. So, okay, so now I have to play my own game though and say, yeah, those are all cool words and everything, but what about an example, right?
Yes.
Claim your own mistakes, claim your own mistakes. Mm, it's so hard for me to find a mistake.
You have hard claiming your own mistake.
I know, that's right. Apparently, I need to work on this one. Claim your own mistakes. I'm just trying to find it. Mm, yeah, I haven't got it right now. If you're
Okay,
willing to play it, it'll show
I can
up.
go first
Okay, good.
in this way. So one of the things I think, of course, we all make mistakes and screw up and do things.
Right.
That, there's one of the things I learned recently from a friend, Peter, was this
Mm,
piece about autocorrect, right? So what are the things that I would want
mm,
to autocorrect can be a key to my
mm,
mistakes.
mhm,
Um, and I'm just brought to today of all
mm.
days
Interesting. Yeah.
being what would have been my mother's birthday if she was still alive.
Mm. Yeah.
The mistake of like
Mm,
when we're young, there's
mhm,
things that we just don't understand and that we think we know,
mm,
and so there was this way that I was speaking to you earlier about like my mother's generosity with people.
mhm,
I used to hold it and think um that she just let people take advantage of her.
mm,
Like she would just give to everybody, or like anybody asked. And even places that like I think I knew she wasn't going to get her money back or whatever it was, and she would just
mm,
give. And I made the mistake
mm,
of thinking that that was foolish.
mhm,
What I know now, I think,
mm,
being the 51-year-old person that I am,
mhm,
is that her giving had nothing to do with them.
mhm,
Her giving was about who she wanted to be, not
mhm,
it wasn't attached to what they would do with it, that she
mhm.
really did give freely.
Yeah.
And this whole idea about living from this
Mm,
place of abundance in the way that she did, and how much that actually has taught me. I
mm,
didn't know at the time that that's what I was learning,
mm,
but now I appreciate it in a much different way.
mm. That's good. That's good to hear, and I think I can connect into that one because that's where I went pretty quickly once you started talking. There are stories that I have bought into or just defaulted into, excuse me, about what life is, how life is supposed to be, what uh, a vacation is supposed to be, what Thanksgiving is supposed to be, how the world is supposed to be. And it's still the language of mistake feels a little charged or something like that for me. But I know that I have bought into stories, defaulted into stories that as I grew as a younger adult into a more middle-aged adult and into some of the age and wisdom I think that I've been able to have, I recognize how some of those old stories were just like, oh gosh, stories that I don't buy into anymore. They had a lot of power over me at one point, and until they didn't.
Mhm.
And to live a life that, it sounds a little cheesy, but to live a life that chooses story and chooses view rather than just adopts by default what is prominent in contemporary society, that's frustrating kind of stuff. So I think for me a big chunk of my life has been recognizing some things that I thought were really true and defining and all of that turn out to be just another set of you know discombobulated facts or things like that I don't actually choose to live.
I think those stories for me, I would say, were shackles.
Hmm.
That part of the growing up and part of the
Hmm.
claiming my own life
Yeah.
is choosing my own stories.
Yeah.
That I think is what growing up is.
Yeah.
And and of course when we're younger, we can't always see those things.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was talking about a young man today and just how he's young. And so he doesn't understand that you can be
Hmm.
angry with someone and then not be angry with them. Like that,
Right.
that relationships have more depth or can have more depth than that.
Hmm.
And that I'm sure there was a time in my life that I was that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And so here's the connection, right? This is the thing that we do with a lot of people. What does that have to do with the bigger story?
Yeah.
You and I just played 2 pages out of this Patty Dye book, Simple Wisdom for Complex Lives. We had Stop Trying So Hard, and what was the one that I just had? Claim Your Own Mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah. So what does that have to do? How does that connect into any kind of relevant bigger picture here for you?
Well, I think when I can do both of those things,
Hmm.
when I'm willing to not try so hard and
Hmm.
willing to fail and then claim my mistakes,
Yeah.
there is a freedom that comes with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it's like more opens up, there's more possibilities. I'm willing to show up in places that I wouldn't otherwise.
Hmm.
I'm willing to experiment a little bit more. I'm willing to be freer.
Yeah. That's me too. I land in the freedom part of it. I did this earlier today with a group that I was working with, where we were kind of playing one of these, not this book, but a similar kind of principled thing. And I was naming for them that one of their super skills, and we were talking about check-ins and checkouts, right? But one of their super skills is to hear the seemingly disconnected story. Um, in this particular example, people were talking about if you had a time portal that could transport you anywhere, any place, where would you want to go? And so they were using this as an example. And then we played with that question a little bit. And what I reflected back to them was if you can find the human value in the midst of the story, oh, this is why I want to transplant to a beach. Oh, this is why I want to go visit my grandparents' old farm, any of that stuff. If you can find the deeply human value, like in that instance, it was love of.
Mhm.
And then you ask with the group, oh, what might that kind of love of have to do with what we're doing? For me, the landing here in the conversation that you and I are having is so much about freedom that is tied to some other tied to. That's funny. Freedom tied to freedom
Yes.
that connects to some other things because the freedom to imagine, the freedom to work it differently, the
Ooh.
freedom to let go of wounds, the freedom to live unapologetically enjoy those kinds of things. Those are some of the ways that shows up in my life. So
I
fun to
think
play that.
I think one of the mistakes that I used to
Mm.
make is thinking that freedom was free,
Yeah. Mm.
that freedom didn't require me to do anything,
Yeah.
or to that my own freedom was all about me,
Hmm.
you know? And so when you're speaking, that's some of what comes up for me.
Mm. Well, there we go. We've made it serious again, as we do,
Yes.
as we should, I think, actually. But there is a dance here between the playful that leads to the serious that leads to the playful.
Yes.
So kind of fun to play it.
Yeah.
All in the name of, the desire for cultivating, I think, a certain inner and shared
Yeah.
uh, awakeness or awareness or wisdom or soulfulness together.
Yeah.
I think that's what I got for today.
Me too. I like the wild card idea.
All right. We just wild
We can
carded.
play. Yes, a bit.
Okay. Cool beans. Thank you for today.
You too. Thanks for listening today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your practices and commitments to wisdom and coming of age. If you wish further information, our shared website for Fire and Water is www.fireandwaterleadership.weebly.com. My website is www.nazuzu.com, and Tennyson's is www.tennysonwolf.com. And we currently have a website that we share called www.qtwisdom.com.
You
Check it
just
out.
work the W's
I
impressively.
did. I did a lot of them, didn't I?
Go back and say all
Thank
of that
you.
again now.
Bye.